Hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emma. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a totally new environment today. I am actually in Copenhagen, Denmark. I'm at the King's Garden. I thought it just opened for the day, but there's quite a lot of people here. It's a beautiful day out. Fun fact about me is I always feel super awkward filming in public. So there are going to be people passing on these paths. I am obviously wearing a mic, so you shouldn't really hear too much distraction, but there's going to be some wind around, a little bit more distractions than there might be in my usual studio setting. But I think it's worth it for this awesome view, and then you can see the castle in the background. Obviously, I'm abroad, so this class is going to be kind of yoga for when you're traveling. I noticed after I got off the plane, I was really sore. I mean, I had a long travel day. My whole body kind of ached, and I really just craved getting on my mat. And so I'm kind of going to share what that has looked like for me the past few days while I've been abroad. Let's go ahead and get started in a child's pose. This should feel really nice on your hips and lower back, especially if you've been seated for a long time, whether you're traveling or even at a desk all day. The hip flexors can get really tight, the low back can get crampy, fussy. So give that a moment to calm down here. Let's deepen the breath. Notice the breath. And start to move the breath with a little bit more intention and purpose. If your body isn't feeling 100%, maybe you're jet lagged, you're tired, sore, take a moment to appreciate all of the things that do feel right, all of the things that are going well. And we'll work through those other things. Let's go ahead and tent the fingers. Press into the finger pads. Lift your palms, elbows up off the mat. Feel your upper arms externally rotate, kind of hollow out your armpits. Almost squeeze your belly and imagine rounding your thoracic spine a little bit. So you want to squeeze your belly. You might feel your ribs lift a little bit away from your thighs. Let's go ahead and thread that left arm underneath. So kind of like a mix between child's pose and thread the needle. I don't even bring my face all the way back down to the mat, but I'm going to keep my right fingers tented. Let's go ahead and unthread that. Left arm stretch forward onto the fingers. Thread your right arm underneath with the palm face up. Again, maybe this side I'm going to bring my head down, but if that doesn't work out, don't worry about it. Focus more on the sensation you feel, and you can even press into the back of the right hand to feel a little bit more stretch. Keep trying to drop your left armpit, square your shoulders towards the mat, and unwind. All right, let's come up to a tabletop. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and spread your fingers out. Your knees should be underneath your hips, and we'll work into the lower back. On your next inhale, arch your back, look up at the ceiling or sky. On your next exhale, tuck your chin in and round your back. Getting some of those kinks out of the way. Let's go again. Inhale, arch, pull your shoulders back. Exhale, round. Let's take 3 more rounds of cat-cow, linking the movement with the breath. So allow the breath to lead and set the pace. Exaggerate the movement. Start to feel some space between the shoulders in your upper back. One more. And then like you're drawing a big clockwise circle, I want you to take your hips back towards your left heel, towards your right heel, and then bring it all the way forward. So like you're drawing a big circle, and then you'll feel a stretch in your wrists as well. So go back, around to the right, and forward. Let's go one more this direction, and then switch directions. This should feel really nice if you've been traveling and your hips are really tight. So that's what I notice the most after I'm on a plane for a long time, is my hips feeling really tight. And usually when you're traveling, at least for leisure, you're doing a lot of walking, a lot more than usual. So kind of moving all that energy around so you can enjoy yourself. Let's go ahead and meet back in tabletop, then walk your hands forward to puppy pose. Forehead down, hips high, press the tops of your ankles down. Almost try to press the big toe mound, so like the top of the big toe down more than the outer edge of the foot. That will help your inner thighs engage. You might like to bring your chin to the mat here, melt your heart space down. Let's go ahead and slide all the way forward onto the belly into a one-arm sphinx. So I'm going to take your left arm diagonal across the top of your mat, bend your right knee, reach back for your right foot, and kick into your hand. Feel it opening through your right shoulder and your chest. And then pull your heel in towards your butt. Feel a stretch through the top of your thigh, your quadricep. All right, awesome. Release the foot, but keep your knee bent. Take your left arm all the way out to the left. Place your right hand under your right shoulder and roll to the left, gently stepping your right foot behind you. You'll feel a nice opening through the front of your left shoulder now. Awesome. Roll back onto your stomach and let's switch. Right arm diagonal across the mat, bend your left knee, reach back for your foot. First start to kick, you'll feel a nice opening through the front of the shoulder. You can press the top of your right toes down and then pull your left heel in towards your butt. Feel that stretch through the top of your quadricep. Release the grip, but keep your knee bent. Left hand under left shoulder, right arm all the way out to the right. Start to roll to the right and step your left foot behind you. You can rest your head on the mat if that doesn't feel good. You can always grab a block or even use your left hand as a pillow. Slowly roll back onto your stomach. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers out and bring your feet out nice and wide. On your next inhale, let's lift up about 1/3 of the way. So maybe the belly still stays on the mat. You're just lifting your chest and shoulders, and then bring those back down. You might slide your hands back a little bit, roll up about 2/3 of the way. So the elbows are still bent generously, hugging inwards, shoulders down, and bring it right back down. This time, come up all the way. You can even make it into more of a lazy cobra pose, locking out those elbows. You should feel a gentle compression in your lumbar spine, feeling pretty nice. Feel that nice stretch through the front of your abdomen. Drop your left hip towards the mat and look over your right shoulder. This is one of my favorite stretches. Let's come back through center switch. Come back through center. Let's go back to child's pose. Hopefully feeling a little bit more ease, a little bit more space this time around. Take a nice big breath in, and an audible sigh. Start to make your way back up towards tabletop. Let's hover that right knee up off the mat and just start to take some hip circles with that right leg. I usually like to do these in down dog, but again, after all this traveling, that even feels like a little bit too much. So hip circles in tabletop is nice. All right, extend your right leg all the way back and then off to the left. Put your toes down, look over your left shoulder and try to find your right heel. You might take it a step further and drop your right knee, kind of sink your butt back like Gomukhasana. We've done this in a few of my classes. You'll feel a nice stretch through your outer hips, especially on that right side. Awesome. Bring your shoulders forward over your wrists. Step your right foot outside your right pinky finger for crooked monkey. I like to come up onto the left fingertips, right hand to the right thigh, and gentle twist off to the right. Feel a nice opening through your left hip flexor and your inner right thigh while pressing the big toe mound of your right foot down. Stay there or reach back for your left foot to intensify the stretch. Great, and release. Right hand down, keep your right toes turned out. Step your left foot outside your left pinky finger and we'll find a yogi squat. Feel free to wiggle around a little bit. Use your elbows to push your knees outwards. Grab a block if you need to. Sink your tailbone towards the floor, heavier heels and lighter toes. Press your low back in, broaden your collarbones, and feel the back of your skull lift. Great, we'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Plant your hands behind you and drop back to your seat. You want to take your feet towards the outer corners of the mat, and they should be there almost already. Start to windshield wiper your knees side to side. All right, let's come back through center, kind of like you're going to set up a bench pose or reverse table. Keep your feet out nice and wide. Now you need to take your left hand behind you, the fingers pointing towards the back of the mat. Start to lift your hips up kind of like a wild thing or like a one-arm table. Lower your hips back down, sweep your right arm back or place it where your left hand was. Lift your hips up and send your left arm up and overhead. Again, lower your hips down, and we'll do that a few times. So left hand behind you, hips up, right arm reach, bring it down, right hand to the mat, hips up, left arm reach. Let's do one more on each side. Left hand behind you, lift your hips, lower, right hand behind you, lift your hips, and lower. Awesome job. Let's go ahead and grab behind the hamstrings. Start to lift your shins up off the mat. We're going to meet in a Savasana boat pose. Extend your arms forward, squeeze your belly. One great way to target low back pain is to strengthen your core. So although a lot of the low back pain you get from traveling is just from sitting in one position, it's also great to help strengthen the core. You might find your back pain kind of relieves itself a little bit quicker the stronger your core is. Broaden your collarbones, press your low back in, grab behind your hamstrings, and rock up and down the length of your spine. After that last one, I want you to gain some momentum. Maybe use your hands and come all the way up to a standing forward fold. Take your feet out nice and wide and grab your opposite elbows. Imagine a weight in the crown of your head and pulling it towards the floor. Feel free to bend your knees and add a gentle sway side to side. I like to kind of bend the right knee, sway to the right, bend the left knee, sway to the left. You can add in some gentle twisting, really kind of moving intuitively, feeling where your body needs a little extra love and care. Can you make your next breath a little bit deeper than your last? And feel a little bit more length through your spine. Great. Release your hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands and step back to a plank position. Scoop your tailbone towards your heels and look down between your thumbs. Dome your back. And then almost imagine pulling your sternum forward and your shoulders back. Feel some length through the back of your skull, the back of your neck, and then just drop your knees down to the mat. Let's take some hip circles with that left leg. Moving your left leg around in both directions. Then take your left leg back behind you, swing your foot off to the right, plant your toes, and look over your right shoulder. You want to try to find your heel. If you want to take it a step further, drop your left knee to the mat and sink your hips back. Feel a stretch in your outer hips, kind of like Gomukhasana. You could even extend that left arm more forward to get a gentle stretch through your waist. Walk your hands back to normal. Extend your left leg back behind you and take a big step outside your left pinky finger for crooked monkey pose. Left hand to left thigh. You don't want to really roll to the outer edge of the foot, although you can. You just want to make sure your knee's not falling out of line with your ankle, but I think it's better to press a bit through the big toe mound of your foot. I like to come up onto the fingertips, but feel free to grab a block. If you want to take it a step further, you can reach back for your right foot. Gently release your left hand. Tuck your right toes, step your right foot outside your right pinky finger for a brief yogi squat. Feel free to move around again a little bit. And then when you're ready, let's meet in a standing forward fold. Turn those toes forward and drop your head. Maybe shake out your head yes and no. Let's go ahead and inhale, halfway lift. Plant your right hand under your nose and reach your left arm up. Make a fist, roll out your wrist. And then half wrap your left arm behind your back. Try to find your right hip crease. And feel a gentle lean to the right as you peel your chest open to the left. Keep that half wrap as you inhale, rise. Reach your right arm all the way up. Bring your right hand to the middle of your upper back. So you could be set up for Gomukhasana arms, clasping fingers, grabbing a towel or grabbing your shirt. Or you could take your left hand towards your right elbow and lean off to your right. And now pull your ribs in, squeeze your legs. Feel that nice big stretch on your right side. Inhale, come back up through center. Kind of dive all the way down to the right. And once you get there, again, grab your elbows and keep moving a bit side to side. Kind of like you drew a big circle. I find those circular movements with the torso to feel really nice in the waistline. Let's go left hand down, bend your left knee and reach your right arm up. Roll out your wrist for a moment. And then let's take that right arm behind the back for a half wrap. Feel a gentle lean to the left as you peel your chest open to the right. Now keep your half wrap as you inhale, rise all the way up to stand, reaching your left arm up. Take your left hand to the middle of your upper back. You might like your Gomukhasana arms, making a bind. You can always grab a towel or grab your left elbow and lean off to your right. Now lean your skull back into your left arm. Inhale, come back up. Kind of dive yourself down to the left. As you get there, grab your elbows and sway a little bit side to side. Great. Meet back in center. Release your hands. Let's walk those feet into touch. On your inhale, lift up halfway. On your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart and down by your side. We'll do a few, bit of a different sun salutation, more of a hatha style sun salutation. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, hands down, just step your left foot back. Drop your left knee and reach your arms up to a low lunge Anjaneyasana B. As you exhale, place your hands on the mat, tuck your left toes, and step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra or upward facing dog, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, downward facing dog, and pause here for a few moments. This is our first down dog, so you might like to pedal out your legs or shake out your hip. All right, inhale, lift your left leg up behind you. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Drop your right knee and reach your arms up. Exhale, place your hands down. Step your right foot to meet your left foot at the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart and by your side. We'll do that leading with the other leg. Reach your arms up and fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. Step your right foot back, drop your right knee, and reach your arms up. Lean back a bit. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up behind you and step your right foot forward. Drop your left knee and reach both arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step your left foot to meet your right foot, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold in. Rise all the way up to stand. We'll bring the hands to the heart and by the side. Now we'll add some things in here to get a few more stretches and move a little bit extra. Reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step your left foot back and drop your left knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, cactus your arms, expand your chest. You might even like to roll your shoulders out a few times. And then bind your hands behind your back. Work your knuckles towards the back of your left knee. Expand your chest and lift your chin. Heavy in your right heel and lighter in your toes. Release that. Place your hands down and shift back to a half splits. Walk your hands back a little bit towards you if you need to, or use some blocks. Flex your toes and pull your sternum forward. Awesome. Rebend your right knee, put your hands down, and step back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up behind you and step your left foot forward. Drop your knee and reach both arms up. Cactus your arms again. Maybe roll out your shoulders a few times. Make a bind and curl back. Feel that nice stretch on your right hip flexor and then find your half splits. Pull your toes back towards your face, squeeze your belly. Rebend your left knee, step your right foot to meet your left foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Great, rise all the way up to stand. Hands to your heart and by your side. We'll lead with the other leg and add a few more things. Reach your arms up, forward fold, halfway lift. Step your right foot back, drop your knee and reach your arms up. Make a bind, exhale, inhale, curl back more. Exhale, half splits. Rebend your left knee, shorten your stance, pyramid pose. Bump your fingers forward. This should feel really nice after a long day of traveling. Press the big toe mound of your left foot down. Feel a stretch through the back of your leg. Walk it over to the right, wide leg forward fold. Line your fingertips up with your toe tips, squeeze your belly. Pull your shoulders up away from your ears and firm up your legs. Still try to find some length through your back here. Next, inhale, lift up halfway. Walking around to the front for lizard pose. Let's place both hands down inside the foot. This should feel really nice to me on my hip flexors. Especially that left hip gets really sore from all the walking, all the sitting, all the compression. The stretch feels really, really nice. If you want to add on, you could twist, reach your left arm up, but keep hugging that left knee in towards you. Place your left hand down and just step your left foot back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up behind you and step your right foot forward. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, make a bind. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, half splits. Let's bump it forward to our pyramid pose, shortening up that stance a bit. Tug your right hip back and drive your left hip forward. Press the big toe mound of your right foot down. And feel that nice stretch through the back of your leg. Walk over to the left, wide leg forward fold. If you'd like to grab your feet or ankles this time, go for it. Press evenly through all four corners of your feet without gripping into your toes. Inhale, lift up halfway. Walk it around to the front for your lizard pose. Both hands inside your foot. Hug your right knee in towards your right shoulder. Keep pressing the back of your left knee up towards the sky. If you want to add on, left hand down, right arm can reach up. Keep hugging that right knee in. Great. Right hand down. Now, instead of stepping forward into a wide stance, let's go ahead and actually walk it back over to the left. Line up your feet and then turn your heels in and your toes out. Start to move around a little bit, even with your hands on the mat, and then eventually bringing your hands onto your thighs. I really like to add a twist here, so dropping the right shoulder towards the left knee. Continue to press the knees away from each other. Come back up through center and switch. Maybe do that a few times, side to side. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and place those hands back on the mat and come back to our wide leg forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Walk it around to the front. Step your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart and down by your side. I hope your body's feeling a little bit better than when you started. Let's go ahead and start to move into some more hip stretches. We're going to move into a pigeon pose. From here, reach both arms up, lean back, lengthen your waist. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, just step your left foot back, and then we'll take that right shin across the mat. If this feels a little bit more challenging to you, that's okay. Feel free to add a blanket or a block underneath your right hip. Try to stay upright for a few moments here, really targeting. A lot of us just like to come forward right away, which is a great stretch, but you'll feel a little bit more of an active stretch if you stay upright here. So just try for a few breaths, stay upright. You might even press down into the outside of your right shin a bit. You'll probably feel more stretch through that left hip flexor this way. Eventually, when you're ready, feel free to bring yourself down onto your forearms or even use a block or blanket underneath you. A few more breaths here. When you're ready, walk your hands back towards you. Now I want you to kind of keep your right leg as it is. Start to bump your left knee up a little bit. We're going to slide that left knee up behind the right knee. We're going to take a seat back. So eventually we'll meet in Agni Stambhasana, which is fire log pose or shin stacking pose. Your right leg will be on top. So you're going to have to slide that left knee up and then drop your butt back. Your right foot is on top of your left knee. Your right knee is on top of your left foot. So everything should be stacked up. Now for me, I've got a lot of space between my right knee and my left foot. I could put a block here, or I could use my hand to kind of push down. But I want to make sure my right foot isn't inside the knee. So it's not on the shin, it's stacked on the, so the bottom of the foot kind of lines up with the outside of the knee here. Now as I do this, it's easy for me to round my back. I'm going to try to sit up a little bit taller. Lengthen my spine. So what I like to do is use my right hand and push my right knee, gently of course, down to my left foot, and then use my left hand kind of as a kickstand behind me to remind myself to sit up nice and tall. You should definitely feel sensation here in your outer hips. If you don't, avoid rounding your spine, but start to walk those hands forward and you will definitely feel it more. Keep your toes flexed. And try to keep both sitting bones on the mat. This should be pretty intense, so if it is, you're doing it right. All right, slowly start to walk your hands back if you've walked them forward. Take your right foot off of your left knee. Start to swing your right leg back behind you, and we'll meet in a pigeon pose on that left side. So the right leg is extended back behind you with the top of the foot down. Stay upright in your pigeon pose for a few moments again in this more of an active pigeon. When you're ready, you can come down onto your forearms. I think I chose an awesome spot. Not too many people walking by. I hope you guys can see some of the view. It's really, really nice. A few more breaths in your pigeon pose. Feel that tension melting away the longer you stay. Walk your hands back. Keep your left leg kind of as it is. Tuck your right toes and start to bump your right knee up. And be sliding that right knee kind of behind the left foot, kicking the right foot a little bit to the left, and then dropping your seat back. We'll meet in our Agni Stambhasana fire log pose on the other side. So this time the left leg is on top. Make sure your left foot is not on your shin, so it's not inside the knee. The bottom of your foot should line up with the outside of the right knee. I like to place my left hand on my left knee and kind of press down. I could always add a block or something underneath here. So try to sit up nice and tall, lengthening your spine. You might notice one side is a little bit more intense than the other, and that's okay. If you don't feel enough sensation, again, just without rounding your back, start to walk those hands forward. So for me, I can't even get my knee down, so I've got a long way to go before I really need to walk my hands forward. Maybe on a good day where I'm not feeling super tight, that would be a good option. Let's stay here for a few more breaths. And slowly release. Now, put your feet on the mat, kind of like we did earlier. We did those like wild things, but we're just going to do a reverse table to stretch out those hip flexors after that. Place your hands behind you with your fingers pointing towards you. Lift your hips up to reverse table. You'll feel a nice stretch through the tops of your thighs and your hip flexors, probably even your wrists as well. And then lower your hips back down. Let's windshield wiper the knees a bit side to side, kind of massaging into your glute muscles. I always think this feels nice. And if you're someone who likes to foam roll often, this is a wonderful, similar exercise. Again, maybe if you're traveling like me and you don't have a foam roller, this is a good alternative for a few days. Kind of getting into those glute muscles. Then bring your knees back through center. Let's take it all the way down onto the back. Hug your knees in towards you, and then bring your knees towards your armpits for happy baby. Flex your feet. You can always grab your ankles or shins or even behind the hamstrings. Start to rock a little bit side to side. Massage into your low back. This is a wonderful one when you are having low back pain. So even doing this before you go to bed after travel is a wonderful opportunity to give yourself some gentle stretch. Bring your knees together and just continue rocking a bit side to side. Then let's take those arms out nice and wide and drop your knees over to the left. Look off to your right. You might make it more intense by taking your right leg on top of your left or adding some pressure with your left hand. And feel some heaviness through your right shoulder. Unwind through center, switch it out, take your knees off to the right, maybe crossing your left leg on top and look off to your left. Unwind your legs, come back through center. Let's extend those legs straight up. You could grab behind your hamstrings if this is too intense. Now, you could also do shoulder stand. Now, for someone who this movement has been enough for me. But if shoulder stand is good for you, I really like legs up the wall because especially after flying, you can get a lot of inflammation, get a lot of puffiness in your feet and ankles. So a lot of people have to take their shoes off when they fly. This is a wonderful way to kind of reduce that. So just extending the legs up. Of course, shoulder stand is wonderful as well if you feel ready for it. Sometimes my neck feels icky after a long flight if I'm like head bobbing and not sleeping super great. So I've been skipping the shoulder stands, but either is wonderful. When you're ready to finish up, you'll either find a comfortable position on your back or seated, somewhere where you feel like you can relax for a few moments. Walk your shoulder blades underneath you so your heart space and your chest feels open. Usually when we're seated, we're kind of rounding and closed off. So I want the front of your body to feel nice and open. Let's go palms face up. Let your toes flop out and gently close your eyes. Take a moment again of appreciation for all the things that are going right, all the things that feel good, especially now after you've moved some energy around. And for these next few moments, just observe your breathing without any need to control it. When you're ready, start to bring some gentle movement back into your body, your fingers, your toes, rock your head side to side. Take a nice big stretch. That should feel really good. Point your toes and then hug your knees in and roll off to one side. When you're ready, coming up to a comfortable seat. Finding a little bit extra space and ease in your body. Hopefully feeling a little bit better than you did when you stepped on your mat. I know that's always the case for myself. Always feels good to just move the energy around, even when you don't necessarily feel like doing it. Let's go ahead and bring those hands to heart center. Take a big breath in and exhale. Thank you so much for joining me in this yoga for travel yoga class. Have a wonderful rest of your trip, or not, if you just chose to do this on a day you were feeling a little bit tight. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me regardless. I so appreciate it. Until next time.